What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are enjoying your evening. So, I'm sure y'all have heard by now the story about Chris Lewis, the man in Georgia who had the three children, and he left them at the McDonald's Playpen in order to go to a job interview. They were homeless, and he's out trying to provide for his family. Well, he got arrested for child abandonment, and former NFL player Antonio Brown has stepped in and he's raised over $60,000 for Chris, which is amazing, right? Because, listen, one thing that is so unfortunate about this country specifically is our lack of safety nets. I mean, Chris was out, trying to get a job, trying to provide for his family so that he could afford a babysitter or some childcare. So I'm glad that Antonio stepped up and helped him out. Let's go ahead and get into the story. So it's today.com. They say dad arrested for leaving his 10-year-old, his 6-year-old, and his 1-year-old at McDonald's alone. Former NFL player Antonio Brown and other parents on social media are defending the Georgia dad, Chris Lewis. And listen, at 10, you're not completely, um, I guess at the age where you should be watching kids. But to keep it a buck, I started babysitting when I was 11. So, um, and I was a latchkey kid even before that. That's just, how folks did it back in the day. And my mom didn't get in trouble. You know what I mean? I know a lot of my friends' parents, they didn't get in trouble or, go to jail for child abandonment. Um, but I'm glad that Antonio stepped up, the AB stepped up to help him. So a Georgia man was arrested after leaving his three young children unsupervised at McDonald's for 1 hour and 42 minutes. See, and that's another thing. That wasn't even that long. Again, not trying to, completely um, say that what he did was 100% correct. But if you're in a desperate situation and you're homeless and you're trying to go to a job interview, leaving the kids at a playpen, I wish he had like a cousin or, the mother or somebody, a friend that he could call just to watch them for that hour and 42 minutes. But that's not that long. So that was according to the police report obtained by today.com. Chris Lewis, who's 24 years old, and that's so young too. Wow, to have such a huge responsibility. 24? He should have been in the club. No, I'm playing. No, I'm glad he was doing the right thing for his family. He dropped off his kids age 10. Oh my gosh. 14? See, that's heartbreaking. 10, 6, and 1 at a McDonald's with an indoor play place on March 22nd. Police were called after a fellow patron who was dining with his family noticed that they were unattended. Folks know they need to mind their business. The witness told police he saw Lewis ordering food for the children around 4:30 and noted that Lewis left the restaurant and came back and then left again. So he came back to check on the babies and he fed them. Okay. I understand why people were defending him though. Because they act like he was he just dropped them off and just left and never came back, you know. When Lewis returned to McDonald's at 6:18 p.m., officers took him into custody and he was later charged with deprivation of a minor. Lewis told authorities that he had walked to the restaurant with his children from his apartment, but didn't want to make them walk back while he was at a nearby job interview. He also stated that he did not own a car. See, this man is doing the best that he knows how, and he had his first child when he was 14 years old. My heart breaks for him. I'm so glad the AB stepped in. According to a new police report filed on April 2nd, Lewis's 10-year-old told the officer that the father frequently left them alone. It's not funny, but kids are your biggest ops. According to the police report, the children were picked up by their mother and Lewis was transported to the Webster Detention Center. See, and I wished he could have left the kids with their mom. I mean, I'm sure she was probably working or, but maybe there was a grandparent or somebody that could have watched the babies while he went to the job interview. That was, at least for under 2 hours. That's why community is so important, man. According to the police report, the children. Okay, I read that. Lewis was transported to the Webster Detention Center, and Child Protective Services was notified, and an incident report was made. News of the arrest quickly spread on social media, catching the attention of former Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown, who created a GoFundMe for Lewis. He said, "The story caught me by surprise. A dad just trying to find his way to make some money for his family," Brown wrote. "I know he shouldn't have just left his kids, but some people don't have the means for babysitting." Exactly. Brown added that he has not spoken to Lewis, but said that the GoFundMe has assured him that he will get the funds to Chris and his family. Good, because they need it. That's awesome. He says many people on social media are rallying behind Lewis, expressing support and sympathy for the challenges that many parents face in balancing work obligations with the need for childcare. The arrest also sparked discussions about the flaws in the justice system. It says this case sheds light on the struggles faced by those who are trying to improve their lives without a reliable support system, one person wrote on Facebook. While leaving young children alone is a safety risk with legal consequences, it also raises important questions about the challenges many parents face while balancing job opportunities and childcare. The sheriff of Richmond County is Georgia is a disgrace, another person wrote. What a miscarriage of justice. Free that man. He is innocent. Another person wrote, he needs assistance with childcare so he can work. You can't get assistance until you get the job. He can't take the kids on the interview. Where is the humanity? That's so true. That is so true. Helicopter parenting culture has to end. This is insane. The 10-year-old looking after their siblings in a safe space for a short period of time while their parents did something next door was normal, like 30 years ago. Exactly. Listen, I was watching other people's kids when I was 11. Okay, it was completely normal. Nobody called the cops. Nobody was meddling. And again, parents, especially young parents, this man is only 24 years old. I mean, with a 10-year-old, that means he started his family when he was 14. He was a baby himself, So that in and of itself tells me that he didn't get, necessarily the guidance and structure that he needed while he was growing up. He was still growing up, becoming a father at 14. What was that, ninth grade? My goodness, my heart breaks for him. Man, that dad was just trying to get a job. But kid safety comes first. A 10-year-old's not mature enough for a 1-year-old, but that's sad. Okay, so some people are kind of in the middle. Again, listen, I'm not a parent yet, so I'm not passing judgment on him. I think that he, again, was trying to do the best that he could. The mother wasn't there or available, it seems, to watch the kids. He fed them. He had them in a place where they could have fun and expend that energy. He had, you know, came back to check on them. So was it ideal? No, but I'm glad the social media and Antonio Brown is rallying behind him because he needs help. I feel like he was not supported as a child himself growing up. He didn't abandon his family. He didn't, walk out like so many men do and just throw up their hands and just say, you know what, this is too much. I was only 14 or making excuses. This man is out looking for work and doing the best that he can. So $60,000, I'm really glad to hear that'll be a big help in regards to helping him and his family get on their feet. It says this is what happens in a country where childcare is not prioritized, made affordable to all. You have to choose between earning the dough and leaving your kids at McDonald's. So again, people on Facebook and all over social media are donating to the GoFundMe. You guys want to go, donate that. Look up Antonio Brown, but I'm really glad that he is now getting some support after this story has come to light because it's easy to judge people, but the older I get, the less judgmental I am. Because life be life. And you get a little bit older, you get a little bit wiser. But I commend this young man, and he is young, 24. That's why I was like, man, like 24, he should have been in the club. But no, he is not. He's not out partying and, enjoying his 20s, so to speak, right? That's essentially when most people in their lives are carefree. But he's doing what he needs to do. He's, out trying to provide for his family, taking care of not one, not two, but three extra mouths to feed, 10, 6, and 1. That absolutely cannot be easy. I hope that he has a good, co-parenting relationship with the mother. But listen, that's $60,000, and I hope it's growing. I hope that he gets a lot more than just 60. Is absolutely necessary because we don't have affordable child care here. And the US is the well, I was gonna say is the richest country in the world. And we are, I don't know about tomorrow after all these tariffs and hit, and the stock market is crashing and our economy is crashing. Lord help us. But I mean, we should have a lot more support systems in place than we do. Other Western, industrialized countries, they have, a lot longer maternal leave and a lot better support systems. They take care of not only the mothers, but also paternal leave. Fathers, you know, they're given the opportunity to bond with their infants, and they're given a lot, longer paid time off from jobs, and just better support systems and more affordable childcare than the US. I feel like this country is so rich, but it's so punitive. Like we don't have, it's so like individualistic here. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And a lot of people that are saying this have unearned generational wealth. So it's easy to, to speak from a place of privilege, especially if you just have it handed to you, with a silver spoon in your mouth. But if you are, essentially getting it out the mud, if you, for whatever reason, became a father at 14 and decided to keep your children and, you know, raise them and do the best that you can, I'm so glad that the community is supporting him. I'm so glad that, Antonio Brown has brought this to light. And regardless of whatever you might think of AB and all his antics in the past, it looks like he's growing to be a bit older and wiser as well. I try to pray for wisdom every morning. I forget sometimes because I'm a mess and a half, but the times that I do, the Bible says if you pray for wisdom, the Lord will bless you with it liberally. And so I'm just like, I recognize more and more that we definitely need wisdom and to help people, not look down on them. So shout out to Antonio Brown, everybody who is donating. And, I hope the community continues to rally around him. I hope that he has other friends or community members. I remember, we used to have just a neighborhood older lady who would watch kids and help out young parents. What happened to, I don't want to say like what happened to Big Mama and them, but what happened to all the, community home care workers? And, I just, I feel like we used to have, goods and services in our communities, and somehow they all just became so privatized and just so individualized, and everything got separated. And it was recent. And now the support systems and the systems in place that we do have here are just being completely dismantled by this administration. I mean, PBS, they're taking away Sesame Street, taking away the Department of Education, Health and Human Services is laying off everybody. And these tariffs, Lord help us. But anyway, you guys, I'm so glad to hear that there's a good story. Chris Lewis and his family, I feel like they're going to be okay. So please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Please go donate if you want to. Shout out to Antonio Brown for all that he's doing for the Lewis family. And I hope to, keep an update with more good news from them in the future. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.